Now to the war between the U.S. and Iran. Both sides are giving conflicting reports of where things stand on the possibility of a diplomatic solution. Earlier today, President Trump said Iranian officials, quote, want peace and that they've agreed to not have nuclear weapons. He has, for now, backed off an earlier ultimatum for Iran to open the Strait of Hormuz or face more strikes. A spokesperson for Iran's foreign minister has denied holding negotiations with the U.S. So CBS News Pentagon reporter Eleanor Watson joins me now to discuss. Look, Ellie, these two sides obviously telling very different stories. So are those talks actually happening? And if so, who is involved here?
That's right. This morning, President Trump kind of surprised everyone when he said on Truth Social that the U.S. and Iran had, quote, very good and productive conversations to bring the conflict to an end. He said he later explained that those talks were led yesterday by presidential envoy Steve Witkoff and President Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, who spoke with a top Iranian leader, although President Trump did not name who that leader was. According to President Trump, Iran agreed not to pursue a nuclear weapon in the initial part of this peace process, but Iran, as you said, in a statement from the foreign ministry, denied that any talks were happening at all. Other countries throughout today, like Egypt, Pakistan, have stepped up and said they are encouraging both sides of the conflict to pursue a diplomatic solution to end this. President Trump today, when he spoke to reporters, did sound encouraged, noting that what he called progress, and that led to his decision to step back from his ultimatum to potentially strike power plants in Iran and just stick to military targets, at least for the next 5 days.
Okay, Ali, we also understand that CBS News now has some new reporting about Iran's activity in the Strait of Hormuz, obviously that becoming a huge sticking point in negotiations to end this war. So what do we know now about what's happening there?
Sources today have told CBS that Iran has laid about a dozen mines in the strait, and that is of concern to the administration because even if the conflict were to end today, those mines could take some time to clear and bring back traffic. Remember that that strait is a crucial choke point for much of the world's oil. Normally about a fifth of the world's oil supply flows through there, but since the conflict started, that traffic has dropped significantly, raising energy prices around the globe. President Trump would like to end that, which is partly why he issued that ultimatum over the weekend that he walked back now that there are some diplomatic processes ongoing. But even without those mines, Chanel, I do want to say that Iran, because of where the strait is along the southern coast, Iran can also pose a threat with its anti-ship missiles, drones, and sea drones.
Okay, lots to follow here. Eleanor Watson, thank you. And CBS News White House reporter Olivia Rinaldi joins me now for more on this developing story. Olivia, President Trump has repeatedly said that all the top leadership inside Iran has been killed. So, the question here is, who is the U.S. and their allies talking to right now?
Well, so far what we have seen regarding that question is the Speaker of Iran's parliament appears to be the person who is having those conversations with U.S. officials who are likely Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and the president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, having those back-channel conversations. But we do not have confirmation yet on who exactly this person is because, as Ellie just laid out, Iran has not fully said that they are participating in these conversations and have denied that these negotiations are even happening at all, given the fact that they have consistently struck inside of Iran and killed multiple leaders now throughout different factions of Iran's government. There's probably some interpersonal politics playing in there, not wanting to say that they are the individual who is talking to the U.S. And even President Trump alluded to that earlier today, saying he doesn't want to name the individual who they're talking to because he does not want to get them killed. So as of right now, these conversations seem to be happening through back channel, through allies in the region, including Pakistan, Turkey, who are offering to help in having these conversations. But the White House is not willing to say exactly who they are talking to at this moment.
So, Olivia, what about President Trump's threat about the Strait of Hormuz? What's happening there? Why has this become such a huge factor in this war?
Well, really, the price of oil is driving that big conversation. And over the weekend, when the president said that Iran has 48 hours to reopen the strait, otherwise he's going to be targeting those critical energy infrastructure inside of Iran. That was around when we saw oil hovering about $120 a barrel in pre-trading. That's very, very high, and that certainly has implications throughout the entire globe. And so the president made that threat, and it appears Iran's counter threat, saying they are going to attack those desalination plants in the Middle East, caused the price of oil to spike up, because we have to remember that is where a majority of the globe's oil really transits through. Even some U.S. allies, including Japan, 95% of their oil products go through that strait. So there's nothing going through there right now, and all of those countries are feeling the pain. So because of that, that's really the threat that the president has honed in on, even today going as far to suggest that some type of deal could be made where Iran and the U.S. have control of this strait, which would be completely unprecedented and would require a lot of military action and reassurances before that could even happen. So this still remains really the most critical juncture of this war, is the Strait of Hormuz.
Okay, Olivia, Rinaldi, thank you.